Hey Minecrafters, Nick here with episode 10 of my Minecraft World Tour, and as you can see, I have been successful on my quest for Tridents. Eventually I figured it all out, and another thing is I'm currently standing on top of a giant block of ice, which means that I got the ice maker working again, which is awesome. I was worried. I thought maybe something crazy had changed with pistons that was stopping this from working, and while that's true, it wasn't completely breaking it. What had happened was way back when I built this thing, and I built it a long time ago. Spiders were able to form or able to spawn on top of rail lines. So I found that what was happening is that these two little minecarts that I have in here, if I push that button or flip that switch, they'll stop here. These two little minecarts, which are the things that are activating the activator rails and making all the pistons go, they would get stopped halfway through their little route underneath because they, go back and forth and back and forth, back and forth all the way around. They'd bump into a spider that would spawn down there and they'd stop. And I found that to be a real problem. So the solution I came up with was to use a translucent block, like the slime blocks you can see down there, and just underneath those, I think one or two kind of bricks down, I put down some glowstone. And the glowstone was just light enough to stop anything from spawning, stop the spiders from spawning. And it never really affected the ice up here because the pistons were opaque. But now that pistons are considered sort of a transparent block, what that meant is that the light was shining up from below and preventing ice from forming here. So if you remember in the last episode, I did a bunch of testing just along here, and I more recently had a creeper blast. But I was doing testing along here to see what was going on with the water freezing and why this wasn't working. And eventually I remembered that, yeah, I had to put lights underneath all of this. So now that the lights have been removed, you can see that this thing's starting to work. In fact, it's nearly done. The reason why I have a creeper blast, and the reason why my snow golem is my snow golem is no longer here, is because I cut a little hole into the wall up here so that I could sit here safely, because this area is not lit up at all. On the surface. Underground it's lit up pretty well, but on the surface it's not lit up because I didn't want to melt all the snow and make it look silly. So I've kept it dark around here, and that means that if I just stand here and wait for the ice to freeze, which is a lot like waiting for water to boil, it's not a lot of fun, and it is a slow farm. I'd have to say that in terms of real time, it takes about somewhere between 2.5 to 3 hours, somewhere in there, somewhere between 2 and 3 hours for this thing to form the entire block of ice. But there's 144 pieces of ice on each layer, and it takes 81 pieces of ice to make a blue ice. It's what is it, 9 to make a packed ice, and then 9 packed ice to make a blue ice. So it's 81 regular ice to make a single blue ice. So that means I'm probably going to get about 15 to 18, something like that. I can't do the math in my head. But yeah, I'm not going to get a lot of blue ice, even from harvesting a cube as massive as this. So I'm thinking that people will start to come up with really interesting ice farms. I'm not sure how any of them will work, but I think ice farms will become important because nobody's going to want to go out and spend the time to look for iceberg biomes and then just rip up all of the natural icebergs that are there, because they're kind of nice. When you find one, they look really good. And yeah, you don't want to destroy them, or at least I don't. I don't want to rip up all of the land. I let the creepers do that. That's their job. So the good news is we have a trident. Well, we actually have more than one trident, but don't tell anybody. And I did eventually figure out pretty much everything I think there is to know about getting yourself a Trident farm of some kind. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to head back to the main base here, and I will show you some of the things that have been going on with me trying to farm Tridents. Okay, I'll meet you back at the base. Okay, here we are back at the base, and I can show you some of the things that have changed. I recently got rid of all the glass that was around my item elevator here, because now that it's just a a flowing water item elevator, you don't need glass anymore. So I can have this as just kind of open. None of my beacons are showing, but if I look down, they'll show up. I'm not sure why that is, but it's something to do with sub-chunks and whether those things get loaded by looking at them. I love the way these things look. I love a stack of wither skeleton skulls that has a beacon running right through it. It just kind of slowly turns. They're just about the right size for them. Yeah, they look really cool. I might have to do some decorations like that somewhere. A big long hallway with a bunch of these would look really cool, I think. Okay, but today we're here to talk about tridents. That's why we're here. And I'm just going to watch an iron golem burn to death up there. Nope, not yet. There we go. There's his iron and his poppies. And some carrots too, apparently. Okay. Now, when it comes to trident farming, I have killed many of the drowned. 2,289. So nearly 2,300 of the drowned. They've killed me 3 times. Because they can be very dangerous. If you're going to fight those guys, especially with a trap, I would strongly advise having a shield. Because you can block the tridents with a shield, which is very important. Okay, so here we are. Before I go down, sorry, I know I'm kind of scattering around all over the place here. This is my Afk Fish Hut. It's my own design. I know there's much better, much smaller, probably nicer looking designs that are out there, but I've had that one for a while, and it's mine. This is where I keep my fishing rods, and I just do some fishing. You just probably saw in my inventory there, I've got 2 tridents. One with Mending, Riptide, and Unbreaking. The other with Mending, Loyalty, Unbreaking, and Impaling. And I got some of those enchantments from the fish farm up there. This is the output from the fish farm. So whenever you do fishing, everything sort of ends up down here. And if you notice in here, we've got, what, 3, 7, and 9 Nautilus shells. So what is that, 19? 19 Nautilus shells, or maybe 3, 7, and 9? Yeah, that's 19. I can't do math. Yeah, so if you're looking for Nautilus shells, AFK fishing is actually a really good way to get it, because they just show up, during fishing, and it's a little bit easier than going off and hunting all these guys in the water, because they don't often have Nautilus shells. But if you do see a drowned in the water with a Nautilus shell, he will drop it for certain. Every time I've seen one, they drop it when I kill them. Anyway, down here at the bottom of the beacon, this is where my 5 beacons are, and here's all the colored glass and the 2 randomizers that occasionally change the glass. I used to have 2 different sets of colored glass around here, and I removed it down to 1 because some of the color combinations looked pretty sickly. I gotta say, if you get the wrong color combinations, it just makes the beacon look really nasty. So I removed one of those and kept the other one. So that's the reason why every once in a while you'll notice that my beacons change. It's not me doing it. It's the base just decides when to change the beacon colors. Oh, there we go. The beacon colors changed right there. Okay, now over here, this is a little spot in my base where I found a zombie spawner. And what I did, I don't think I have, no night vision. But anyway, I cut a little trench in the back there, and it sort of goes forward into a little water elevator with the soul sand. And so these guys, they just sort of form in here, spawn in there, and I use that to convert them into drowns, because a lot of people told me that you could get tridents from drowns that had, been converted from zombies. And I can tell you pretty definitively that is not the case. So if you... currently, I can only really speak for the Java edition of Minecraft. I don't know whether it's the same on consoles or Bedrock or Windows 10 or any of the other versions they have out. But if you're in the Java edition, you are not going to get any tridents or anything decent from killing these guys by converting them. And there's a bat in there that's getting in the way. Okay, so the way that I decided to make this room work is when I'm standing here, I'm within reach of the spawner. So as I stand here, more and more guys will show up. They'll shoot up the water elevator, come forward, and fall into this little trap. And I could wait here for a while, see if I can get some more people or more drowns showing up, but it might not be worth it. So what I'll do is I'll walk over here to the red carpet, and the red carpet is outside the sort of activation area for that spawner. And so what I do is I kind of sit back here. Now, there'll be a couple of stragglers that had already come through, but, you know, hadn't gotten all the way to the top yet. So I just kind of sit here and I wait for these guys to convert. They will eventually convert, and I gotta think of a better way to get these guys up there, because there's quite a few of them that can get trapped down there for a bit. It used to be so much easier getting zombies and things to go through, you know, water streams and get them where you want to, but it's a little bit more difficult now. Okay, let's eat some fish. Fish. Okay, so I think these guys are all converted. I don't see anybody left. And so what I did is I made this little button on the wall here, and there's a couple of pistons behind these two stone bricks that will slam shut so that nothing else will fall in while I'm doing what I'm doing. It will remove the water from these two spaces here, because there's a dispenser there that will suck back the water, and it will also remove the floor from underneath them so that they all fall. And then once they've fallen, the whole thing goes in reverse and we're all set back up. So water gone, zombies fall, water back, door open, floor back out. And you can see there's somebody that actually drowned in the trap. Anyway, so you come down here after you've done that, and then you have these guys nicely trapped, and you can just chop them. And chop them, and chop them, and chop them. And you'll notice that you don't get a darn thing. You will get literally nothing aside from just zombie bits. You know, you'll get the occasional piece of armor. You know, just what you see. Just what you see here, people. Just what you see. There's nothing good that will come out of this. So if you're considering making a Trident farm on the Java edition right now by converting just regular zombies into drowns, just understand it's not going to work. It is not going to work, and you will get nothing. Trust me, I have killed thousands of these guys, and you know, I've emptied out this chest a number of times trying to do this, and so I can say pretty definitively that this will not work. It's a waste of time. Maybe later on, if they do some patches and find a bug, maybe there's a bug that makes things a lot less common, or you know, much rarer than they should be. Maybe it's just a decimal error where they made it, you know, 1/10,000th of a percent rather than a 1/100th of a percent. I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there, but I can tell you for sure, you are not going to get anything good by killing a converted zombie. They simply don't drop anything decent, and they don't even show up with anything decent. So don't waste your time doing that. So the question then becomes, what did I do to actually get tridents? Because I killed at least 1,700 of them by hand in the water and never received a thing. And that led me to believe that maybe if you kill one of the drowns in the water, they don't drop what they're carrying. The only exception to that seems to be the nautilus shell. A drown that's carrying a nautilus shell in the water, if you kill them, you'll get the nautilus shell every time. But the small zombies and the big zombies that have the tridents, they're the only things, only naturally spawned drowns that have tridents will drop them. And they don't seem to drop them if you kill them in the water. And trust me, I've killed hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them in the water. And it does not work. And there's some bouncing drowns at my little trap here. I noticed that in the river, I was getting some drowns coming out, and they would actually crawl into my base and start wandering around. So I buried a villager inside a little glass tube there, and that makes all of the drowns around here concentrate on him and just kind of do their little dance in the water, so that at least they leave the villagers in my villager trading hall alone, because I don't want my villagers to get converted into zombies. That would not be good. So, what am I going to do now? I think I will head off, and I'll just take the trip here. I'm not going to do a cut. I'm just going to take the trip, because it's a fun trip. It's a nice little flight. We just jump out our window here, pull out the wings, and zoom, and fly up here. All right, and now if you're a good flyer, if you're really good with flying, you can point down at about 40 degrees, and then point back up at about 40 degrees, and you'll notice that you get to about the same height that you were at the max before. Just keep on doing this sort of 40 up and 40 down, and you'll get just about to the same same height. You can keep on flying. Notice if you gain some... Ooh, oh, I used a rocket. That's going to ruin it. Oh, well. If you gain some speed, then you can normally kind of get up a little higher as well. Now, down here, this is the XP Prismarine Farm. And I'm just going to take a little spin-a-rooney and land here. Because one of the things I've been thinking about is making sort of a kelp farm. So I put down a small area there, filled it with kelp, and I'm waiting for that to grow. I'm probably going to turn that into a farm over at the main base to feed my super smelter. Because if I can automate that process and just have the super smelter continually filling with fuel, that will be great. Then I won't have to worry about going off to get blaze rods or mushroom blocks. Mushroom blocks, no good for fuel anymore in 1.13. So if you have those in your industrial furnace array, get rid of them because they won't work anymore. But if you remember, this is the little underground bubble or underwater bubble that I made. And I put the first conduit that I found on top of it. I've recently gone back and decorated that a bit just to make it look a bit more interesting. And are we daytime or nighttime? That's another thing that's important about the drowned. At nighttime, their AI reacts differently than it does during the daytime. And I'm not sure whether that was intended behavior or not. Because drowned only ever seem to track you when your feet are in water, I would have thought that maybe they just didn't want a million drowned coming out of the oceans at night to attack players. So that, you know, maybe at nighttime they stop them from pathing so well. But yeah, my gut tells me it's probably just a bug. Probably just an error somewhere in the game code. But for sure, Ilmango is quite right, I think. Yeah, these guys, they act a little funny during the nighttime. So make sure if you're going to do drowned hunting or if you go hunting for tridents, make sure you do it during the daytime. Okay, we got lots of daylight left here. So what I did... Oh, I can hear one coming after me now. There he is. Come on, buddy. Oh, you're a long ways away. Yeah, but all you have to do is just... yeah, this is what I do. I kind of swim around a little bit. I don't want these other two zombies getting in the way, but they most likely will, so I will try to get over here and slay them if I can. And we'll just try to chop-a-rooney. Okay, now we got to scoot away a bit. Ouch. Ooh, he's just whacking me with that trident. Okay, and we got a bunch of them. Ah, I don't want that many right now. Oh, maybe I can do the same. Yeah, they take about 3 whacks, even with impaling on this thing. Okay, now this guy right here, he's got a nautilus shell with him. I'm probably going to get myself killed by doing this. Let's hope not. But there, yeah, there's the nautilus shell. So you get pretty much 100% drop rate of nautilus shells. And I'm currently going to swim back around here, trying to hide on the guy with the trident, because he's wrecking me at the moment. And what I did is I built this little machine here. This machine, it's got a couple of little water tubes and the soul sand to create the upward force, and it just pushes people into a tripwire, or pushes the drowned into a tripwire that shoves them into the Nether portal. And that way I can get them into the Nether. I still need to kill some of these guys. Why am I whacking you with a fish? That is not going to work. Never smack a drowned with a fish. It just enrages them. Okay, now where's the guy? I've got to eat my fish. Fish. Okay, there's the guy with the trident. I'll let him track me over here a little bit. I'll try to get rid of some of these other useless guys, because these guys will not drop a trident. And I'm going to shoot into my little trap over here. And we'll see whether we can get them. Oh, come on. No. There's another trident guy. Okay, great. Now we got 2 of them. Come on, get in here. Get in here. First guy down. Second guy gone. Okay, so there we go. Now I've got 1 in there. Over here. Are we trapped up top? Come on. Ooh, no, we're just not in there. There we go. Okay, this guy. Hello. Hello. Come and see me. No, don't walk on that. No, no, you're just gonna die. The magma blocks there are really good for the most part in helping you to get these guys in your trap. And slurp, bling. When you hear the bling noise, you know they've gone into the trap. Okay, so once I've done that, I just use an ender pearl to get myself out of there, and then I look around for some more guys. Look around for some more trident-wielding bad guys, and I think that's probably a good demo of how this thing works. If you just stay in here, and originally I had sort of planned to drop a villager in from above, but my villagers are so far away. I haven't bothered with that yet. And what I do is I just kind of stand here. I've got the magma blocks just outside there. They help to bring people down. Yeah, so this is what I do. I just kind of sit in here. There we go. And for the most part, it works really well. You have to have these things sort of up for these guys to see you. And they just get slurped up and head off to the nether. Because we've got nether portals, and I did that. I tried a bunch of things here. Originally, I didn't want to have to take these guys into the nether. So I just made a little trap that tried to bring up all of these drowned to the surface up here. And, you know, make it so I could kill them there. But I had some, I don't know, strange difficulties with getting them to sort of pathfind. They would come up through the water elevators and just kind of spin around in strange circles and not really track properly. I had real trouble getting them, you know, to just get into sort of a bucket here so that I could kill them. Because I became convinced after a while that these guys would not drop anything if they were in the water. The only exception to that is the guys with the nautilus shells. But you'll see every once in a while these guys will show up and they'll have a fishing rod in their hand, like this guy here. And if you kill this guy in the water, blam, you got the rotten flesh, but no fishing rod. So I'm pretty convinced that these guys will not drop anything. And I'm not sure whether that's a bug or what the deal is, but I don't think they'll drop anything if you kill them in the water. And trying to get them out of the water is a little bit problematic. But if you build a machine like this, it's pretty simple, really. It's just, you know, a block that's got the tripwire hook, just above some redstone. The redstone goes around on top of here. Oh, let me kill him. Ooh, they're kind of tough. They actually take a while to kill. Okay, stab, stab, stab. Poke, poke. I'm poking you with your own tridents, you understand? That's what you get. That's what you get for giving me so much trouble for so long before you revealed your secrets to me. But now I know. And anybody else that tells you that you can make an easy-peasy Trident farm by getting converted zombies, or, yeah, don't listen to them. And if they tell you that you can make a Trident farm by killing these guys in the water, also don't believe them, because it's just not going to work. It doesn't. You can trust me pretty definitively on that. Oh, there's another guy. Now, look at this. Okay, let's see whether we can get a million of these guys in here. This ought to be kind of funny. I will eat some more nutritious fish, and we'll see how many of these guys will get sucked up into the... Ooh, ow, ooh. Wow. Yeah, they're all getting sucked up there. And come on, guy, get in here. I should really have my shield out. Where's my shield? Shield. Eat the fish first. Eat the fish, then use the shield. Did he go up? It's so hard to tell. It's so hard to tell. But I did find that these little trapdoors here were pretty helpful. They can stop them from seeing you, which sometimes will kill them. And is that him? No, let's try and find him. Yeah, if you have these things down, these guys will track you a lot better, and they'll just kind of come forward and slurp, get sucked up. Little baby guy can't get me right there because I've got the stone walls underneath, and that's too big for him to get through in the corner. So unless they have a trident, if there's a baby with a trident and he's standing right there in the corner, he's going to murder you. So one way to get out is to come down here. I've got a little secret escape hatch. Eat some more fish because I'm hurt. And then I jump out here, close that one, open up that one, close that one, and we're back out. And it's just about nighttime, which is when you would want to go to bed anyway, because, as I mentioned earlier, hunting these guys at night is not really good. It doesn't work as easily. They don't get sucked up into the trap. And I tried a bunch of different traps. I really did. I tried to do something completely original and, you know, very simple. But yeah, you really do need, my first idea was just to put some portals on the ground, you know, right down here at sort of ground level, at the bottom of the ocean, and just have people come towards a villager in it. But it didn't really seem to work. They'll stand right in front of the portal without really going in. And where's the Nautilus shell? There it is. See, every time. You'll get a Nautilus shell every time. But that's about the only guaranteed drop these guys have when they're in the water. And as I mentioned, I've done enough testing now that I feel pretty confident. And if you're wondering why there's a brick here, it's because I was swimming past here, escaping from a bunch of drowns, and I heard some zombie and spider sounds. So I suspect that there is another underground cave right there. And I'm just going to shoot over this way. See if we can get there quickly. Oh no, you can't do that when you got a shield on. Can I do it? Launch from the water. Launch from water. Nope, not going to happen. Oh, there we go. It's tough to launch from the water. I don't know exactly what I do that makes it work or not work, but I can usually get there if I try a couple of times. Okay, so we're going to shoot over here and do a little spin around. You should remember the old XP Prismarine Farm. This is where I get XP when I need it in the overworld. It's a great place to go down and just throw some potions at the Guardians in there. But instead of doing that, I'm going to take you over to the nether side of my drown trap. And what that will show you is how well it works. Now, for me personally, I would spend the time to bring one of my villagers and drop him in the top of that trap, but if I were to do that, I would get a lot more of the regular drowned as opposed to the Trident drowned coming through. And from the testing I've done so far, you can kill those guys as much as you want, and you... Oh, I don't see a single Trident guy in there. Are they just all up top? Let's open this up and see if they'll fall through. Okay, there's at least a couple of Trident guys in there. Come on. Ouch! No, don't shoot at me. Fall down, you nasty old drowned. Okay, so we've got a couple of guys with Tridents. I think just two. And the rest of them are just regular. Okay, so right now, no Tridents in there. I'll get rid of that. And see, one of the things right there, there's fishing rods. And those are from the drowned that carry fishing rods. And so when you kill them out of the water, they can drop the fishing rods. And I've never seen one drop a fishing rod in water. So yeah, my personal belief right now is just that the drowned will not drop what they're carrying unless you kill them out of water. And I don't really have anything to back that up aside from, you know, nearly 2,300 kills of drowns. But over that many, I should have, you know, even if there was a 1% chance to get a Trident, you know, from a regular drowned, I should have at least 20, or roughly 20, and I don't. And you see, we didn't get anything there. Just absolutely nothing. What a waste. But since I've been working at this, I've gotten, what, that's 5? So I've gotten seven Tridents in total. And another 21... Oh, look at that. We got a whole stack of Nautilus shells. Yeah, so in total I've gotten 7 Tridents so far. And they seem to come in a range of health. Sometimes they're nearly full, and sometimes they're nearly empty. So if you get one of these things, best bet is to put mending on it right away and then just go and get some XP. and it'll heal up quick. They actually heal up a lot faster than you might think. And one of the things I wanted to try to do was to just take one of those things into an enchanting table and just do some standard enchanting. Because I did, for the first 2 tridents that I got, I was so happy to get them, and I'm sorry I didn't have it on camera, because my reaction was actually pretty genuine. I was jumping with joy. I was so happy to finally get a trident after trying for so long. Yeah, I'm a little lost right now. I don't know what I'm doing, where I'm going, so I'll just head back to the base. And I think I've gotten through pretty much all that I needed to get through in terms of Trident farming. If you've been watching the most recent series, Hermitcraft 6, Series 6 of Hermitcraft, you'll know that Doc M, he took the sort of design that Ilmango came up with, which was to make a sort of a giant fish tank in the sky above a river biome, because apparently, since rivers are much smaller than oceans, the likelihood that a drowned will spawn in a river is actually higher, you know, on a block by block basis than it is for the oceans. So what Doc M did was just to build a giant, you know, fish tank in the sky and let the drowns kind of fall out of it and then walk towards him, and then they would go into the Nether where he would go and destroy them. And he was the first person I've seen in this game that actually obtained a trident legitimately. And I was convinced that it could be done because I saw Doc M do it, but I wasn't sure, you know, how to go about it. And I tried a bunch of things. So in the end, I just decided to do the same sort of thing, just to take all of the drowns that I wanted and to put them into the Nether. And as I was trying to say earlier, but I think I got sidetracked, I wanted to originally to put just a villager into my little zombie trap. But I don't think that's going to be worth it, because you'll just end up killing a bunch of the drowns, you know, in the Nether, and they won't drop the tridents. So instead of, you know, taking the time to bring a villager all the way from over here, you know, over that mountain, you know, over into the ocean, and then drop them down into my little trap, I just go into the trap myself, and I look around, I find the guys that have the tridents, I bring them close, jump into my trap from the swim position, and then I get them slurped up and deposited into the Nether, where they just kind of stay there. And then eventually I go to the Nether and I slay them. And, you know, as you can see, I've gotten, what, 7 tridents from doing that. And that those 7 tridents have probably come after killing, you know, roughly 1,800 to 1,900 of the drowns by hand. So yeah, if anybody tells you can get a trident in the Java edition any other way than taking the drowns and moving them, I would say to the Nether, but I think you can just take them on dry land somewhere. But again, that can be tricky. I did have a lot of trouble with that, so I just made the piston pusher little trap where I can sit down at the bottom, I can lure in the guys that have the tridents, get them into the Nether, then I just fly over to the Nether and kill them, and so far so good. It seems to be a good way to go. So if you're thinking about making a drown trap, take my advice. Do it that way. You'll get much more in terms of tridents than you would by just running around killing zombies everywhere or killing drowns everywhere. Oh, there's the flying squid. Look, a flying squid. He flies up slowly and drops down quickly. Flies up slowly and drops down quickly. I think that's the reason why in the next snapshot they have decided that squid will only form in rivers and things, because they don't want to have the naturally forming magma blocks do this with squid. And this will stop as soon as I look down. If I look down, it should stop. Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's only, you know, if you just see them in the air, then they just kind of keep on glitching and bouncing up in the air. But as soon as you look down and see where they're actually coming from, they stop. And that, like I said, it's just because I put this one guy in here. I put the soul sand around here, just trying to sort of push them into that little... Oh, there you go. That's exactly what I wanted. So that was my first attempt, right there. That was my first attempt at sort of trapping these guys to kill them. The second attempt was to do just a zombie spawner, which was a huge waste of time, sadly, because I don't think that works at all. And the third attempt, well, call it the third, fourth, and fifth attempt, were the things I had built out there in the ocean. But eventually that did lead to success. So I'm really happy. I'm super happy. I've got one trident that I can throw anywhere and it'll just come back to me. I hope. That's the one with loyalty, right? Ooh, yes it is. Okay, good. I might have just killed a cow or a horse there. Oops. Don't kill your own pets, your own livestock. Don't do it. It's not good. And another thing that happened to me the other day that was actually really funny, it was during a lightning storm. Lightning struck the top of the water, and a skeletal horse appeared near the top. And I thought, oh, I think you can ride these guys underwater now. And I came near it, and of course it broke into the 4 horsemen. And on land, the 4 horsemen can be a little bit tricky to deal with because, you know, they shoot you with their arrows, and they have shields, and they're kind of nasty. But underwater, they are just deadly. They can zoom backwards at a rate that you simply can't swim, unless maybe you have Dolphin's Grace. Yeah, that was a really bad experience. I eventually had to just turn and run for my life. That actually happened right out by the little farm that I was setting up to get some sea kelp. And I want to actually go over there. I want to go over there and look at the sea kelp farm because I haven't been staying at the Prismarine Farm much recently, and so that kelp hasn't grown terribly quickly. But once it does, once that kelp grows, I will either just plant a whole ton of it in this ocean, just so I can harvest it by hand, or maybe I will do some kind of a farm, an automagic farm, because I do like farming in Minecraft. I like building farms. That's fun and helpful. So let's see. Yeah, this is coming along in here. It's some of them have grown up to what? How old are you? How old are you, kelp plant? Aren't you supposed to tell me? I thought it was supposed to say. Oh, there we go. Yeah, age 17. You have to look at the very top one. Isn't that interesting? Age 20. Well, why is the age 17 one taller than the age 20 one? That one's 25. This one's 18. 25 and 18. 25 and 18. I was under the impression that the age was pretty much how tall they were. But that's obviously not the case because 18 was taller than 25. And here we are, swimming around, lost. Yeah, okay, are those the horses? Yeah, those are the horses. Those are the horses. Yeah. Okay, I guess all of the... I'm going to drown in a second. I guess all of the horsemen must have drowned. Mind you, how does a skeleton drown? He doesn't even have lungs. That makes no sense. But maybe I can come down here and try to ride one of these. Or do I need a... No, I'll need a saddle, won't I? Will I need a saddle? Could I... I can hop on you, but I can't control you. Well, these guys are going to stay here. I am not going to get rid of them. And you will be my underwater horses. As long as you kind of stay put. Can I get them to stay put? I don't know. Well, it doesn't really matter. If they get away, they get away. I don't mind. Okay, now we can switch over to a Riptide Trident, so we can... Oh, that was not very good. I was trying really hard there, but no, that didn't work out well. Well, that is really not shooting me forward terribly far, is it? I could have sworn that with a shield I went farther. No, I'm not really going farther. Those crazy thoughts that you have every once in a while, you think you know what's going on and you really don't. Or maybe that's just me, I don't know. It could just be me. Anyway, guys, I think that's pretty much all I can sort of show off here. Maybe I can come in for a closer look at the trap over here. I did find that having the magma blocks on the outside was good because sometimes these guys will come at you sort of floating and they'll just, you know, they'll kind of stay there just floating against the glass. So now if they float up against the glass coming at you, they get sucked down and then they come forward, get caught in the trap and sent to the Nether. And just for schnitz and giggles, I will I'll just go sit in here, and if I take up all of these, Yeah, you can see this is actually, it's a very effective trap. These guys just kind of come walking forward and slurp. Up they go. You can hear the noises when they're getting pushed into the nether. Yeah, plays a little tune. And yeah, you can just kind of sit down here and you can gather a whole bunch of these guys. So at the point when they fix whatever is wrong with the looting tables, or whatever's wrong with getting tridents from drowns, I'll just be able to sit here forever because I'm within the conduit range. I'll never drown. And I think as long as I have these things down, I'll never get hit by anything. Yeah. So I think this is a really good trap. I just have the kind of corners with half slabs on them. I do have some fence posts coming down so that people don't get caught in the corners of these half slabs so easily. I do find that having the little trapdoors is kind of helpful. Just don't let it completely block their vision because then they sort of stop. But I do find this to be a pretty effective trap for the most part. It might be nighttime though. You see how these guys are not really... They're not tracking me right now? That guy over there is not tracking me. This guy over here is not tracking me. I bet you that means it's nighttime. Let's just get out of here. And no, it's not nighttime. Okay, well, they're still acting funny. And one more Nautilus shell for me. There it is. There it is. You see, they always drop. Nautilus shells always drop. I wish the same were true for Tridents, because it did take such a long time, guys, to get these Tridents. It's I really, really had to try. And I had ended up taking down some of the little sort of, I don't know, jaggy bits on the seafloor here, just to make it easier for people to spot me and come and get me in my little trap there. And one day, I'm not sure when, but one day I will try taking the time to put a villager in there. That was sort of my plan from the beginning, but that's going to be the last thing that you do is get him in there. And I thought, well, why don't I try me as the bait? And me as the bait works just great, especially because right now, getting regular drowns into the trap and putting them in the nether to kill, it doesn't improve your chances of getting a trident at all. So you may as well just spend the time to find the guys with the tridents, put them in the trap yourself, and then you're much more likely to get a trident in the end. But I think that's it, guys. I think that's all I can do. That's all I can stand. I can't stand no more. I've been fighting these drowns for so long, and I'm tired of fighting drowns. I'm just going to run away from them. Run away. I'll run in circles. I'm running circles around them. Look at that. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This is Nick saying goodbye on episode 10, and we'll see you in the next one, which hopefully will be better. I did get some video editing software. I'm using something called OpenShot. I just need to get a little bit better at using it, and then I'll be one of these Minecraft video maker guys that doesn't waste your time with traveling through nether tunnels for absolutely no point. But like I say, that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.